Hi guys, what's up? Today we are going to study lesson 9b on the pre-intermediate book. We are going to start on page 70. Let's go. Alright, so let's start on the title of the lesson. 9b, I've been afraid of it for years. And now the bubbles on the right corner. Do you have any phobias? Yes, I've been afraid of spiders since I was a child. In this lesson in grammar, we are studying present perfect plus for and since, vocabulary, phobias and words related to fear, and pronunciation sentence stress. Okay, so let's start. Vocabulary number 1, phobias and words related to fear. Exercise A. Look at the picture. How many things can you see that some people have a phobia of? So let's focus on the picture. Here, this picture. How many things can you see that some people have a phobia of? Think about it, and we are going to check how many things we have. Alright, so let's see what things people have a phobia of. There are spiders, flying, snakes, small spaces, the number 13, public speaking, clowns, high places, and injections. Okay, interesting. Right, exercise B. Look at the names of 5 phobias. Match them to explanations A to E. Alright, so there are 5 kinds of phobia. Acrophobia, agoraphobia, glossophobia, claustrophobia, and arachnophobia. Right? And there are 5 explanations about them. So now you're going to read and you're going to put the numbers to the correct letters. Alright? I'll be waiting for you. Alright, so now let's check exercise B. So, number 1, it's letter D. Right? So, acrophobia, it's letter D. Number 2, agoraphobia, it's letter B. Glossophobia, letter E. Number 4, claustrophobia, I think probably the most famous. It's letter C. And arachnophobia, letter A. All right. So, let's go through exercise C now. Read the explanations again. Find in the texts. Number 1. The noun made from the adjective afraid. Number 2, one adjective which means very afraid. And number 3, 2 synonyms for afraid. Right? So, go back, read the explanations again, pause the video, and we're going to check in a moment. Alright, so now, let's check exercise C. Number 1, the noun from the adjective afraid, it's fear, it's in text E. One adjective which means very afraid, it's terrified, that it's in text A. 2 synonyms for afraid, frightened in B and scared in D. So they are synonyms. Very good, guys, very good. Okay, guys. Let's go now through part 2. It's listening and speaking. Exercise A. Listen to 3 people talking about their phobias. Answer question 1 for each person. So question 1 is, what's he or she afraid of? So you have to pause the video, listen to audio 4.20, and then we are going to check. So pause the video and listen to the audio. Alright, so let's check exercise A. So, speaker 1 is afraid of bats. Speaker 2, he has claustrophobia. And speaker 3, she is afraid of clowns. All right. So now, let's go through exercise B. Listen again and answer questions 2 and 3 for each person. Which person do you think is most affected by their phobias? Right, so question number 2, when did it start? Question number 3, how does it affect his or her life? Right, so pause the video, listen to the audio 4.20 again, and we are going to check. Alright, so now let's check exercise B. Alright, so question number 2, that is, when did it start? Speaker 1 said it started when she was 12. Speaker 2 answered it started about 10 years ago. And speaker 3, it started when she was 6 or 7. Right, and question 3, how does it affect their daily life? Speaker 1 answered, she's nervous when she's outside, when it gets dark. She can't look at pictures of bats. Speaker 2 answered, he can't go on crowded trains. He never uses the underground and he needs an aisle seat on a plane. And person 3, speaker 3, said that it doesn't affect. Okay? Very good, guys. Let's continue. Exercise C. Ask and answer with a partner. Question number 1. Which of the phobias in this lesson do you think is the most irrational? Think about it. Number 2. Which do you think makes the sufferers' lives most complicated? Okay, that's interesting to think about. And number 3. Do you or anyone you know have a phobia? When and how did it start? How does it affect your or their lives? Alright guys, let's continue on page 71. It's part 3, grammar. Present perfect plus for and since. Exercise A. Look at this extract from the first interview in 2. Answer the questions. Alright, so the extract. How long have you had this phobia? I've had it for about 40 years, since I was 12. So there are 4 questions. When did she begin to be afraid of bats? Is she afraid of bats now? What tense do we use to talk about something that started in the past and is still true now? And remember, when we are talking about tense, this is past, present, future, past perfect, conditional, okay, tense. And number 4, complete the rule with for or since. So you have to complete. Use with a period of time, use with a point in time. So with for or since. Pause the video, do the exercise, and we are going to check in a few moments. Alright, so let's check exercise A. So, number 1. When did she begin to be afraid of bats? When she was 12, right? Is she afraid of bats now? Yes, she is afraid of bats now. It started when she was 12, but she is still afraid of bats in the present. What tense do we use to talk about something that started in the past and is still true now? It's the present perfect. Number 4, complete the rule with for or since. We use for with a period of time. We use since with a point in time. Alright? But now we are going to study more about this. You're going to page 142. So let's go there. Okay, guys, so let's study more about present perfect plus for or since. So there are two example dialogues. Let's read them in the white box. Where do you live now? In Manchester. How long have you lived there? I've lived there for 20 years. And the next dialogue, where do you work? In a primary school. How long have you worked there? I've worked there since 2005. They are the two example dialogues. So let's go through the first topic. So we use the present perfect plus for or since to talk about actions and states which started in the past and are still true now. So I've lived in Manchester for 20 years. Equal. I came to live in Manchester 20 years ago and I live in Manchester now. Right? So it's the same thing for me. I've lived in Belo Horizonte for 24 years. Right? So it started in the past and is still true in the present. The second topic. Don't use the present simple in this type of sentence. Example, not. I live in Manchester for 20 years. Because in Portuguese, it's very common to use this kind of sentence with the present simple, right? But in English, we have to use the present perfect, okay? Use how long to ask questions about the duration of an action or a state. So for example, how long have you studied English? It's an example, right? We use how long and we can't use, for example, how much time. All right, so for or since. We use for plus a period of time. Example, for 2 weeks, for 10 years, for a long time, etc. Example, I've had this car for 3 months. We use since with the beginning of a period of time. Example, since 1980, since last June, etc. I've been afraid of spiders since I was a child. Alright, it's very easy. I'll give a personal example. I've been an English teacher since 2012. Or I've been an English teacher for 7 years. It's the period of time. Okay? If you have any questions, post it on the comment of this video. Okay? Alright guys, and as homework, on page 143, you have to do exercise 9b. In exercise A, you have to write questions with how long and the present perfect. And on exercise B, here, you have to answer the questions in A. You have, of course, to use the present perfect plus for or since. Okay? Alright guys, let's go back to page 71. We are going through grammar exercise C. Listen and say the phrase with for or since. So you have to pause the video. You have to listen to the audio 4.22. They're going to listen a period or a point in time. Example, 1984. You have to see if it's since or for, right? The correction will be on the audio, okay? So we are going to 1984. And then 5 seconds later, since 1984. Okay? Very easy. Okay, guys, let's go through listen and repeat. Copy the rhythm, right? So, you're going to pause the video, listen to audio 4.23 and repeat. So, pause the video, listen and repeat. Okay, so let's go through exercise B. You're going to listen and write 5 sentences. So, you're going to pause the video and listen to the audio 4.24, right? So you have to listen at least twice, okay? And write 5 sentences. So pause the video and listen, please. All right, guys, so let's check. All right, sentence number 1. How long have you worked here? Sentence number 2. They've been married for 20 years. Number 3. She hasn't traveled by plane since 2005. Number 4. How long has he lived in Italy? And number 5. We've known them for a long time. Okay? All right, guys. Let's go now through speaking. Look at the questions below. What 2 tenses are they? What are the missing words? So think about it. The first question, we have the verb have. We have to make questions with them. Let's see. So the 2 verb forms are the present simple and the present perfect. The missing words are do and are you and have you. So for example, let's imagine the first question. A pet. Do you have a pet? In my case, oh yes, I do. How long have you had it? So in this case, present perfect, because it's something that started in the past and it's still true now, right? In my case, I've had my pet for 6 years, okay? Same thing for the, do you have a bike? In my case, no, I don't have a bike. So I don't need to answer the next one, right? Live. Do you live in a modern flat? In my case, no, I don't live in a modern flat. And you? Do you live near this school? Yes, I live near this school. How long have you lived there? Oh, I've lived there for 1 year. Or I've lived there since last year, right? So you have to think about these questions and the possible answers, okay? All right, guys, let's go now through part 6, reading. Exercise A. Do you know of any kinds of treatment for people who have phobias? So do you know, guys, any kind of treatments? Exercise B. Read the text and mark the sentences true or false. So now, you're going to read the text about the exposure therapy, right? It's below exercise B. And you're going to mark the sentences true or false. But first, let's read the sentences. 30% of people have some kind of phobia. Number 2, doctors have created a new drug to cure phobias. 3, in exposure therapy, people learn to relax when they are exposed to something they're afraid of. 4, exposure therapy is always successful. 5, the drug affects the way people learn and remember things. 6, the study showed that the drug helped people to lose their fear. So you have to read the text, scared of spiders, take this pill, and mark the sentences true or false. Pause the video, do the exercise, and we are going to check. Alright guys, now let's check the exercise B. Alright, so number 1, 30% of people have some kind of phobia. It's false. They affect at least a quarter of the population, so 25%, not 30, right? Number 2, doctors have created a new drug to cure phobia. True or false? It's false. They discovered that a drug for tuberculosis can help, so they didn't create a new one. 3, in exposure therapy, People learn to relax when they are exposed to something they are afraid of. That's true, right? Exposure therapy is always successful. That is false. It does not work for everybody. Number 5, true. And number 6, the studies show that the drug helped people to lose their fear. Also true. Okay, guys, very good. So let's go through exercise C. With a partner, guess the meaning of the highlighted words and phrases. So you're going to take a look at the yellow words in the text: affect, cure, overcome, exposure therapy, does not work, effective, and placebo. And you check them on the internet, okay? If you have any questions, if you don't find on the internet, comment on the video and we're going to answer you, all right? Let's go through exercise D. What stages of exposure therapy do you think could be used for someone with arachnophobia and claustrophobia? So for example, for arachnophobia, people could see a video with spiders. Then next, people could, have a spider in the same room. And then people could see a spider in a glass box. Things like this, right? About exposure therapy and phobias, here on the card, I'll let you a very interesting video. It's a kind of exposure therapy, but it's also a kind of game, that it's Guess the Phobia. It's very interesting. If you have time, watch it, right? So guys, that's it for today. This was lesson 9B. Don't forget to do the homework on page 143. Subscribe on our channel, right? And don't forget, if you have any questions, post them at the comments. See you!